live. Yeah, session recording started, session transcription started. All good there. Let me just check on the participant side. Yeah, people will start popping up any minute now. I don't know why session has this. You have to admit everyone when they want to join.
Yeah, there's basically a button that allows people to automatically join. It's in the settings, bro, because I've done session webinars before, and I think there's a setting when you're setting up the webinar. I think under the settings, you can automatically let people join.
Yeah, I will check that after this webinar because it's a little pain in the ass to just click admit to everyone because everyone is welcome, right?
Yeah, it's no point.
It's no point. Cool. We already have 5 attendees. Hi Steve, nice to see you. Hi Rena. Cool. Fun fact, right? We are working in 3 time zones over here. It's 10 p.m. my place. Kwan is actually doing the most effort by showing up at 7 a.m. from the land of down and under. We really appreciate that, man. Thank you for that. Yeah, people from US, Canada, it's all good for you guys because I believe it's like 4 or 5 p.m., stuff like that. So, all good. Thank you. Thanks to everyone for joining us. We hope that we can provide some value and just help you with your outbound campaigns, right? Joining me today is Juan, the guy who basically is doing hell of a job on LinkedIn. He is a dear friend of HeyReach and one of the most engaged members from our community. So we've asked Juan actually to help us with just maybe teaching a couple of things of the things that he has done in the past, in the future, and how is he thinking about the whole process. I will let Juan introduce himself in a minute. We will go through a presentation, that amazing presentation, if I may add, that Juan has put all together. We will cover a bunch of things, but most importantly, as a takeaway from this webinar should be how to communicate with your prospects and how to make the most out of your LinkedIn outreach. I will let the expert do the talking altogether. So Juan, once again, thank you for joining us. And please introduce yourself.
Awesome, guys. Well, look, what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly share my screen and then we will get started. So this is the screen that I believe I need to share. Can everybody let me know that they can see this screen?
Well, I know I can. In the chat.
Can you guys see it?
Right.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm so excited to be able to present this webinar for you, all about how to create high converting LinkedIn campaigns to generate around 3 warm leads per week on LinkedIn, and that is per profile. So I'm going to jump straight in. Ilya, how much time do you have for these webinars?
Well, we usually do them for one hour, but but that's the total. We like to give like 15 minutes for a little Q&A session. So in the meantime, guys, if you have any questions, you have a Q&A button on the right-hand corner. Please write your questions and we will address them towards the end of this webinar.
Awesome. Well, look, guys, I will, and everyone can see my screen, okay?
Yeah, I think it's all good.
Beautiful. So, guys, if I were to break down generating leads on LinkedIn into a science, it would be really a 5-step formula, okay? The first step is really optimizing and getting your LinkedIn profile done and optimizing it. Now, there's a big difference between optimizing your LinkedIn profile so that it looks good, and there's a big difference between optimizing your profile to generate leads, okay? I'm not going to have too much time to cover that, but I will touch on it today, okay? The next step would be understanding how to target your ideal client, okay? And that is understanding how to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator and understanding the filters of LinkedIn and how they're different to something like Facebook or Google. Number 3 would be creating your irresistible offer, okay? And creating a message sequence that actually gets results. And that's what I'm going to be spending most of my time on today. And then basically, once you've got that, that irresistible offer and that sequence correct, then all you really got to do is understand how to use HeyReach to then build out your funnels to send your messages at scale. And then using LinkedIn's inbox or HeyReach's inbox to then manage those leads, okay, and nurture them into an appointment or into a sale. So that's really the 5-step formula for generating leads on LinkedIn. Now, these are the 6 most common types of LinkedIn campaigns that we run for our clients, okay? Now, a lot of people think that LinkedIn is just all about lead generation and sales, but it's so much more than that. And you can run so many different other types of campaigns. And honestly, depending on your type of business and the sort of product or service that you sell, you may be better off, instead of trying to generate leads and sales from the end customer, you might be better off running a partnership or a recruitment type of campaign, okay? You can also use LinkedIn to find and pitch investors. There's a whole bunch of investors on LinkedIn. If you've got a great investment opportunity, they're quite easy to find. We've sold lots of physical and digital products as well, okay? So just because you've got a physical product like an e-commerce business, it doesn't mean that you can't use LinkedIn, okay? As long as your target market exists and you know what you're doing and you've got the right strategy, you can actually sell physical products. You can obviously run campaigns for brand awareness and growth, okay? Connect with your ideal audience and grow your brand, as well as doing some blogging and newsletter type of campaigns. So it really depends on the type of business, the type of industry you're in, will determine the type of campaign you should run. Now, guys, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through a whole bunch of stats, but what I will say is this, okay? If you've got a great product or service that adds value, okay, to your customers, and your customers can be found on LinkedIn by job title or industry or geography or by a LinkedIn group, then what I will say is that you can make LinkedIn work for you very successfully, okay? Every opportunity that you can dream about and all the leads that you'll ever need are sitting inside of this platform. You just have to understand how to use it and how to utilize it. And that's what I want to show you today, okay? Now, LinkedIn now has almost 1 billion members, okay? They're getting up there to almost that billion member mark. And the beautiful thing about LinkedIn is you can bypass all of the gatekeepers and go directly to the decision maker, okay? And put your marketing message and put yourself in front of that person. That's the best thing about LinkedIn, okay? And according to LinkedIn, their lead conversion rates are 3 times higher than other platforms like Google Ads, okay? And that's because of the power of the LinkedIn profile. It's peer-to-peer selling, okay? Now, before I go on, I need you guys to understand this thing called the larger market formula, okay? And the larger market formula, basically what this tells us is that for any given product or service, for any given industry, in any given target market, okay, the metrics look like this. And I need you to understand this and how it correlates to the numbers and the metrics that you can expect when it comes to running LinkedIn campaigns, okay? But the larger market formula tells us that 60% of your target audience is not aware that they've got a problem, okay? And they're not aware that you've got a solution to that problem. So these are the people that if they knew about your solution, they would actually be quite interested. Some of them would actually buy from you, but they don't actually know that they've got a problem, okay? Now, 20% of them are problem aware. They're just not doing anything about it yet because it's not hurting them enough, okay? Now, 17% of your target audience are problem aware and they're information gathering. They're starting to now look for a solution, okay? They're checking out websites and they're looking at competitors and they're doing their research. And 3% of your target audience are buying now, okay? So I'll give you an example of this. If there was 100 people in front of me and I asked who in the room is in the market to buy a car, okay? 3% of you would be saying, yes, I'm actually in the market to buy a car. And 17% would be information gathering, okay? That's how this works. Now, the thing with LinkedIn, and the reason why most people don't succeed on LinkedIn, is because we talk to our audience like everybody is in the 3%. Okay. We treat everybody on LinkedIn like they're in the 3%, when in fact, a lot of them are just in that 17% or the 20% stage. But if you talk to them like they're ready to buy right now, you're going to turn them off. And so the way that we structure our messaging is very different to how most people approach LinkedIn. Okay. So with LinkedIn, guys, there's really two games that you can play. And we actually play both games at the same time, okay? With LinkedIn, there is what we call the short game, and there is also the long game. The short game is the people that become warm leads and they close a lot sooner, okay? The short game is the people that, want to buy your product right now, okay? Or they come into meetings, they register interest early in the message sequence, they self-opt into things, they are very responsive to your messages. They want to have a phone call, or they want to book themselves into a meeting. These are the people that will welcome putting them into an email sequence. They are the short game. They're the 10% of your target market. Okay. The other 90%, you can't treat them like they're ready to buy, because they're not. Okay. With the other 90%, you have to connect with them, and you have to educate. You have to add value, and you have to nurture them in the long run. And how we do that is by posting really great content and helpful content in the newsfeed. Okay, you can nurture them via an email campaign. Okay, you can give them lead magnets. You can send different offers. You can do things like that to nurture the other 90%. And so understand that the short game and the long game directly correlates with the larger market formula. Okay, and the percentage within.
I'm going to stop you there. Juan, sorry, I'm going to stop you for a quick second. I just want to share a quick thing that happened with HeyReach. Okay, so this guy's coming and he's trying to promote his PPC services. He was an agency and all of that, and he's doing an outbound. And this really correlates with everything that you're saying. So right off the bat, he's buying a HeyReach seat, he's targeting and all of that, sending messages. And luckily, in the first 5 people that he have contacted too, they were the people really in market to buy his service, right? So it was a really pure coincidence. It was really a help, if you like, luck, if you will. But nevertheless, he was not able to replicate the same results on the next 100 people just because he was lucky with the first 5 people. And that's how I do believe that everything that you're saying here is true, because there would be only 3% of the people actually would be interested right off the bat. Please continue.
Yeah, exactly. And so the way that we structure our messaging and where the bulk of the sales will come from is basically the 20% and the 17%. Okay. And the 60%, they're not even problem aware. So there's a long distance and a long journey from getting them from not being problem aware to warming up to your solution. Okay. But what you want to do is you want to get as many people into your LinkedIn database as possible and nurture them down the funnel until they're actually ready to buy. You want to basically add a whole bunch of perfect future customers and set yourself up as the authority in your field. And so when they're ready to buy, they're going to know who you are and they're going to buy from you. Okay. Now, for the sake of time, guys, we don't actually have too much time to cover LinkedIn profiles, but it's important enough that I want to just touch on it really quickly. So with your LinkedIn profile, there's really about 5 or 6 main elements that you really need to optimize. And the first thing is your LinkedIn banner. Okay, your LinkedIn banner needs 3 things. It needs a custom image, it needs a slogan, okay, an elevator pitch, and it needs some branding, okay, or your logo. Your profile headshot. You need to understand the best copywriting methods for your banner and your main headline, okay? And that's like your 220 character main headline. You need to understand how to optimize your contact information and your custom URL so that you can rank higher for your keywords. Things like talks about us hashtags, right? All that sort of stuff. And we have created what we call our 12-step formula for your about summary and your timeline. Okay, your actual experience session. So I'll cover those things real quickly. And let's go here. So this is your profile banner and your main headline. So this is one of our many clients that we optimize profiles for. And when she came to us, when Kim came to us, her profile image and her main headline needed work. Now, this is the mistake that a lot of, like 90% of people on LinkedIn make, okay? They put themselves as job title, founder and director at business name, okay? Job title at business name. That's what 90% of people do. And that's the biggest mistake you can make, because the most important real estate on LinkedIn is your main headline and your profile image, okay? Because your main headline is what everybody sees when they look at you on LinkedIn. Whenever you comment, whenever you reach out to somebody, whenever you post anything, that's what everybody is seeing. So what we do, there's actually two methods for your main headline, okay? There is the elevator pitch method, and there is also the SEO keyword method. We tend to go for the SEO keyword method, okay? And so Kim is all about training CEOs to change the culture in their business. So we use a lot of that language in the SEO keyword main headline. So you can see what's happened, right? We've changed it from founder and director at Stratcom, which nobody understands who that is. Nobody knows what Stratcom is, okay? It means nothing to her target audience. So what we did was we changed it to something that actually makes sense, that they understand straight away as soon as they look at her profile. Building cultures of excellence, okay? Culture change, culture transformation, customized culture change programs. So you can see as soon as a CEO sees that in her profile and they've got a culture problem, right, there's now relevance, okay? And so it's really important to get that main headline right. Now, in regards to the about summary, what we've done is we've taken the best copywriting techniques around the world and we formulated a formula that creates great copywriting inside of your about summary, inside of your LinkedIn profile. So things like, just understanding how to capture the audience and address them, debunking a myth to show your expertise or your authority, asking questions to highlight a problem, naming a result that your audience wants without the pain of getting there, okay? Telling them about the missing link to achieve the result, okay? Telling them how your signature process works, okay? People want to understand that. Listing your product and services, highlighting the problem that it solves or the solution that it provides, highlighting any time or money savings, promising a time frame, and making an irresistible OTA, okay, and an offer, and then giving a call to action. So I don't have time to go through it, but that's what your about summary should look like, okay? We're taking the about summary section of LinkedIn and we're turning it from a resume style, about, because when people look at about in LinkedIn, they think, oh, I have to write about me. What we do is we actually write a sales letter to the audience that's reading, okay? We make it about them. It's about how I can help you, okay? It's not about what I did and my success and what I achieved and what my results were and all of that. We just make it about them, okay?
One, I'm going to stop you right there. I do have a question about the about section. I know that the headline is crucial because whenever somebody is searching anything in the search throughout LinkedIn, the headline will show up 100% of the time. So it will go with the name, and below that it's the headline, and then it continues with additional info, which are sometimes shown, sometimes not. But what about the about section? Do you think that it really helps when people are like the SEO part of LinkedIn, not just the visual presentation of who am I and what is it that I do?
Yeah, absolutely, it helps. Everything helps, right? Because the way that LinkedIn works, and this is a very little known fact, but LinkedIn is really becoming the next search engine for white collar professionals, okay? What that means is people go on LinkedIn and they use it like the way that people used to use Yellow Pages, for example, right? So if you want a business coach, some people actually go to LinkedIn and look for a business coach on LinkedIn. They don't search online on Google, right? If you're looking for, let's say, a health coach, or if you're looking for a digital marketing agency, right? People go to LinkedIn now because people know if I can find somebody on LinkedIn that's quite active, they know that they are a true professional, okay? Because a lot of people, they focus on everything else. They don't focus on LinkedIn. But people know if you're very active on LinkedIn, they can see your profile, they can see your work, they can see what you're posting, they can see, everything about you, and they can quickly make a decision, right, to work with you. In regards to your about summary, you're only going to get 2,600 characters, right? So you don't get enough to actually talk about everything that you do. So you have to actually use the experience section to really build it out. But one thing is you can actually use a tool called a Unicode text converter to actually bold your text inside of LinkedIn the way that we've done it here. Okay, so we use a lot of bolding, and we also use a lot of emojis to brighten up the about summary. Okay, but the main key point from the about summary is make it about them. Okay, talk to them about how you can help them. Don't talk about yourself and your achievements. Now, what we do with the experience section, all right, most people, their experience section looks something like on the left-hand side. Okay, it's just a what I did and who I was and something I achieved. What we do with the experience section is we make it look like that. We actually turn the experience section into a catalog of lead magnets. Okay, and this is because the about summary only gives you 2,600 characters. And so if you're doing a lot of things in your business, okay, you just don't have the space in the about summary to talk about everything. So what we do is we use the timeline, and instead of saying, hey, at this point I worked here, and then at this point I worked here, we actually use the formatting of LinkedIn's experience section to actually talk about all of the things inside of our business, okay? And we make it look like that, okay? It's just a catalog of lead magnets, and it's about five or six main things that we want to highlight and present, okay?
Dude, I really had no idea that you can use this experience section and turn it into an e-commerce store, man. I really, this is over the top for me.
This is what we call media files inside of LinkedIn, right? And so media files can be ebooks, it can be videos, it can be a website link, it can be PDFs, it can be a whole bunch of things, right? It can just be a photo, a series of photos that explains an event that you did. It can be a whole bunch of things, before and after. Okay, you can use it for a whole bunch of things, but there's a trick to doing this, right? Because when you go into LinkedIn in depth and you look at the intricacies of LinkedIn, these are the things that you can come up with, right? And so we figured out, hey, instead of using the experience section to just go, hey, well, I worked at this job, and then, in 2023, I did this job. And instead of doing that, we thought, hey, how can we make it so that it's all about, us and our business and how we can help you, right? And really highlighting all the different things and all the different ways that you can help your audience. So that's something that we do, and it's very, very important. So that's really the profile. I mean, we do a whole presentation on just the LinkedIn profile alone, right? It does take a good, honestly, guys, to get your LinkedIn profile looking like what I've just shown you, it takes time, right? It's going to take a good day or two to really make it look like that, but it's worth it, because once you've got it, you've got an asset, okay? Now I'm going to touch on targeting, and then we're going to go directly into the messaging sequence. Now, Sales Navigator is super important, guys. It doesn't matter how good your offer is. If your targeting is wrong, or if you don't know how to create a target audience and add it and name it correctly and add it to HeyReach, then you're still going to fail in the long run, okay? And so understanding Sales Navigator filtering. So LinkedIn works very differently to Facebook and Google, okay? LinkedIn's all about job titles, okay? So what I would say is this: if you can name me the job title of your ideal prospect, then LinkedIn will work for you, okay? If your job title exists on LinkedIn, then it will work for you. So I'll give you an example. This is one of our clients. He sells a SaaS product for the investment industry, okay? And so his target market is the chief investment officer, okay, in the investment management industry, okay? And so basically we use those filters that were important to him, which is title, industry, and location. Sometimes seniority and sometimes company headcount will come into play. Now, we name the list CIO, Chief Investment Officer, Investment Industry, Europe. So that's how we would save the list name inside of HeyReach, so that we know, right, who is in that list. Okay, and so you can
Sorry,
see
one,
here.
I gotta jump in for a quick second here, guys. Like the Sales Navigator searches are so advanced compared to the basic search, and in terms of numbers, if you do a basic LinkedIn search, 50% of the prospects shown, they will not match the filters that you have applied. Sales Navigator has a similar issue, but it's more like 15%, and 15% is something that you can work with, but it's not 100% always, because that's how the AI of LinkedIn works. But if you're losing Sales Navigators or the basic LinkedIn search, you're basically destined to working with junk leads half of the time. So that's why it's crucial to have Sales Nav if you're working with LinkedIn data. Go on, please.
Yeah. On that note as well, guys, if you want a 50% discount of Sales Navigator, we have access to that. Okay. So if you're not using Sales Navigator, and if you're really serious about LinkedIn, you have to use it. Okay. Otherwise, like Ilya said, you're actually wasting a lot of your connection requests on people that aren't relevant, right? Because of the way that LinkedIn's free search works. But basically, so reach out if you want 50% off Sales Navigator. Now you can see here, there's 1,000 people. When we filtered out by Europe, investment management industry and chief investment officer job title, there's 1,000 results, okay, or almost 1,000. So these are all the ideal decision makers inside of LinkedIn for his product, okay? Now, the way that LinkedIn works, if you go back to the larger market formula, okay, out of 1,000 people, we're going to get about 30 warm leads, okay, over time. As we filter through them and as we message them, about 30 out of the 1,000 is going to become a warm lead, okay? Now, guys, this is the framework of a winning message sequence, okay? We've tried all different types of messaging sequences. This is what we would call the ideal or the perfect one for us, okay? Number one is the connection request, okay? Number two is the intro message. Number three is the offer. And number four, sometimes we'll send a secondary offer, okay, if it's a very different offer to the first one. And then number five is the nudge message. So the connection request, as you know, it's 100 per week, okay? Now, what we do is we send a connection request, then we wait 24 to 48 hours after they accept to then send an intro message, okay? The intro message is not a sales message, guys. I'm going to cover that, okay? Then after the intro message, we actually wait 14 to 20 days, okay, before sending them an offer. And the reason why we do that is because over those next 14 to 20 days, we want them to see us in their newsfeed, okay? We want them to see our posts. We want them to see that we're liking their posts, right? We want to show our profile, okay? So whenever we like their post, whenever they see our post, whenever we comment on their post, they're going to see our photo and our main headline, okay? And we're going to start to become warm to them. Okay, so when we do eventually make an offer, they're going to feel like, oh, I know who this guy is. Okay, and then sometimes we will send a secondary offer and a nudge message. So I'm going to break this down into a science for you. But before I do that, a lot of people ask us, should we be sending a connection request note? Okay, and so I want to show you the metrics that we have from our old software, right, of 200,000 connection requests that we sent. Okay, so 164,000 requests were sent with a note, and 36,000 were sent without note. Okay, and this is how many people accepted here, and then this is the acceptance rate as a percentage. Okay, and you can see when we sent the connection request without a note, our acceptance rate was a bit higher. Okay, so what this tells us is the connection request note is nowhere near as important as you think it is, okay? I'll tell you what's infinitely more important, okay, is how you look to your audience when you send that connection request. So this is how you look to your target audience whenever you send a connection request, okay? This is what they see. And I can tell you your audience is basing their decision. So you can see here, there's two buttons, right? There's ignore and then there's accept. Okay, there's only two choices. Your audience is making their decision on whether they're going to hit the ignore button or whether they're going to accept you into their LinkedIn community based on two things: your profile image and the first 60, 70 characters of your main headline. Okay, So what's infinitely more important than sending a connection request is actually your main headline, okay? And getting your main headline right. And as I said before, there's two different methods for your main headline, okay? There is the elevator pitch method, and then there is the SEO keyword method, which I showed you before, okay? This is basically an elevator pitch method. I run Apex Consulting, build sales and marketing infrastructure at Arbor, right? So that is a elevator pitch, okay? This guy here is an SEO keyword method, Gen Z career expert. So that's actually pretty good, because if he's targeting Gen Z people, okay, which is actually quite hard to do on LinkedIn because you can't target by age. But if he were to hit the right target audience, Gen Z, okay, this would be very relevant and he would get a very high acceptance rate, okay? Because a Gen Z person that sees that is going to go, oh yeah, I'm going to accept, right? Very relevant to my industry. So just make sure you get your profile image and your main headline correct. Now, guys, I'm going to talk about copywriting, okay? But before I do, I need to highlight how important copywriting is inside of LinkedIn by telling you a story, okay? Now, basically in 1982, this author, Nora Hayden, wrote a book called Astrological Love, okay? It was a book about how to seduce women. Now, she was all excited. She went and published 5,000 copies of this book, okay? And she barely sold 2,000. And the other 3,000 copies went unsold, and she ended up just giving them away to secondhand bookshops and selling them at flea markets and things like that, okay? Failed miserably. Now, it was at one of those secondhand bookshops that a New York Times publisher picked up this book in a secondhand bookshop, bought it, read it, and thought, hey, this is actually a pretty good book about how to seduce women. And so, cut a long story short, this New York publisher purchased the rights to the book. And what he did, and the only thing he did, was he changed the front cover. So inside, the book was the same, but he changed the front cover, and he changed it from Astrological Love, and he changed it to How to Satisfy a Woman Every Time and Have Her Beg for More. It really works. The first and only book that tells you exactly how. And this book went on to sell 2.5 million copies. And the only difference was the front cover. Now, I tell you this story to highlight how important your LinkedIn messaging is, okay? The way that you structure your LinkedIn messaging inside of LinkedIn is the difference between somebody getting an astrological love type of result or how to satisfy a woman every time type of result, okay? It actually makes or breaks your LinkedIn campaign. So if your LinkedIn campaign isn't working, it's not the platform. It's either your targeting or it's either your messaging, okay, and your offer. That's all it is, okay? It's never the platform, all right? So with that in mind, okay, I want to show you the framework of what a great intro message looks like, and we call them the 4 S's. So as you know, we've already sent them a connection request, okay, and now they've accepted. So this is what we call the intro message. What do you say to somebody after they've connected, after they've accepted your connection request? Okay, we call them the 4 S's. So we send this about 24 hours after they've accepted the connection request, okay? So number 1 is show appreciation. Number 2 is show interest. Number 3 is seed your elevator pitch. And number 4 is sign off, okay? The 4 S's. So I'll show you what it looks like, okay? Show appreciation. Be grateful and personable, okay? So somebody has just accepted you into their LinkedIn community, okay? So I treat that with big regard. I treat that like, hey, they've actually done me a favor, okay? They've accepted you into their LinkedIn community, so treat that with respect, okay? So I show appreciation. I say things like, hey, you just made my day, okay? Really appreciate the connection, right? Great to connect with you, right? Be grateful and personable for the fact that they've allowed you in, because they could have rejected you, right? But they've chosen to let you in, right? So show appreciation. Show interest, okay? Always show interest in them first. Now, you don't have to be fake about this. You don't have to be over the top with showing interest, but nobody likes it when the person that you've just met, the only thing they do is talk about themselves. Okay, nobody likes that person. So treat LinkedIn like a business conference or a business breakfast where you're meeting people for the first time, right? You don't meet somebody at a business conference and just start pitching to them straight away, right? Or just talk about yourself all the time, right? You have to show interest in them as well. So I say something like, hey, love to learn more about what you do, right? Hey, it's great that you're local. Hey, looks like you're doing some great work, right? Hey, your profile seems interesting. Hey, love to learn more about you and your business. Something really short, just like that. Okay, looking forward to seeing you, right? Keen to learn more. Then I seed the elevator pitch, right? Now we seed, but we don't sell. There's a big difference between trying to sell, right? Because a sell usually has a call to action, right? We don't have a call to action, right? We just seed and then we just leave it at that, right? We're pulling them in. We're not pushing them, right? We're pulling them. There's a big difference between pushing your agenda and pulling them in, okay? We're getting them to opt into us. We're not trying to push our product onto them. So all we say is something like this. Hey, a bit about me. I work with target market to result, okay? I help CEOs and I specialize in this, right? As for me, I provide this solution for this target market, right? If you work with some big names that they might know, you can name drop and go, hey, these people are some of our clients, right? Hey, I just help a competitor name, so I know the space well, okay? Hey, I solved this problem by using this process, which provides this benefit. But you can see that it's not a long pitch, okay? This is one of our own. We build chatbots for the IT and SaaS companies, so it's always good to sharpen my knowledge of the industry. So you can see if I go back, right? This is 300 to 400 characters. Your intro message shouldn't be longer than 300 to 400 characters, okay? So, show appreciation, show interest, seed your elevator pitch, and then just sign off. Keep it brief, casual, and no CTA, okay? Look forward to following your work, right? See you in the newsfeed. Let's keep in touch, right? Looking forward to learning from you. There's no CTA. We just sign off. We keep it brief. We keep it casual, and we keep it very just nonchalant, okay? Like we're not trying, right? We're not trying at all, okay? So if we were to put this together, this is what it looks like, okay? Appreciate the connection. That's showing appreciation, okay? I'm keen to learn more about you and your role or your business. That's showing interest, okay? As for me, I build funnels for automated lead gen here on LinkedIn. That's seeding the pitch and then see you around, signing off. That's all the intro message is, guys. That's how short it should be, okay? 300 characters, okay? Another example, always great to connect with other leaders, right? That's showing appreciation. I look forward to following your work, right? That's showing interest. A bit about me, I work with target market to result. I look forward to seeing you in my newsfeed. That's seeding the pitch and signing off, okay?
I think that this message, sorry, Kwan, I think that this message will cut them off guard like 100% of the time, because what most people do is like they send calendar links, they send CTA buttons, they send let's meet, let's book a demo, free time slots, all of that. Like avoid that as humanly possible and just try this approach. This is what actually works.
Yeah, this definitely works. And look, some countries are different than others, right? Like in Australia where we are, right? Australians like to build relationship first, right? Before they do business with you, right? Americans like to get to the point. So they're a little bit more abrupt. So you can get away with if you're pitching to Americans, you can get away with being a little bit more straightforward sometimes. But in all honesty, in the market that we're in, you have to provide value first, okay? You have to prove to them that you know what you're doing and that they should be doing something with you. So we never assume that they're interested in you. You have to prove your worth, right? You have to prove that you know what you're doing and you can help solve a problem that they have. And so we do that in the next message, right? So this is what we call putting it together. So this is what it looks like, right? This is what an intro message looks like, right? Great to connect with you. Great to find out more about what you do as a job title, right? Quick intro to what I do. I run an agency that does this, right? Look forward to exchanging some insights. And then what we do is we allow 14 to 20 days to pass where they're seeing our posts, okay? We're liking their posts, we're commenting on their posts so that they keep seeing us in their LinkedIn feed, right? So I want to show you what not to do. So I've shown you what you should be doing. Now I want to show you what not to do, okay? And so on the left-hand side here, you've got Kina. And Kina, you can see here, right? Up the top is I've accepted her connection request. And then a day later, this is her intro message. Kwan, is your company in need of lead gen, right? Or appointment, okay? That's her the intro message, right? And I've said, no, thanks. And you can see what she's done is she's kept pitching at me, right? Now, I don't know whether that's automation or she's just dumb, but if somebody says no thanks and you keep going, you've lost that lead forever, okay? And you've burnt that lead in your database when they could have been a future customer if you just treated this conversation with the respect that it deserves, okay?
She even made
never
a typo in the first name on the last message, man. I mean, yeah, there is nothing worse in the world when you have an automation expert reach out by an unprofessional possible way. So I always expose people who are just so not that, like they're not putting any effort into the messages. They're just pushing towards the end.
Yeah.
Like,
it's honestly, it might not even be the effort. It may be they just don't know what they're doing, right?
yeah.
But and the reason why I never burn a lead is because I've learned in LinkedIn, sometimes when you make an offer, they're not interested in that particular offer, but the next offer that you pitch them, they are interested in. And I've learned this so many times because sometimes, like, we've got the same audience, we pitch them an offer, right? So we've done like offers where we've offered to build them a chatbot. So we pitched the chatbot and they weren't interested. But when we came back to that same audience with LinkedIn lead generation, we got so much interest. And so what we realized was sometimes it's not the audience, it's just the offer, right? They might not be interested in one, but they're interested in the other. And if you burn your lead, right, it doesn't matter what offer you send them the next time, they're going to have that yucky feeling, right? Oh, no, I didn't like that person last time I spoke to them, right? They were too pushy or whatever. So always respect your boundaries on LinkedIn and always keep the bridge open for the next thing that you're going to send them, okay? Now, this guy here, Gordon, right? You can see up the top, I've accepted his connection request. And then his intro message, he wrote me a book, okay? And that's why long form content on LinkedIn doesn't work, guys. The way that LinkedIn messaging is structured, it's more of a short messaging platform, okay? And long form content doesn't work. Save your long form content for your landing pages, right? Or for the email sequence to put them into, right? So this guy wrote me a book. And as soon as I see this in my LinkedIn and I see all of these words, I think, oh, this guy's trying to sell me something, right? I can't be bothered reading all of that, but it also comes off as, man, he's trying so hard, right? He's just writing way too much. So keep it to 300 characters. Like I said, you can see the difference between what he's written and my thank you message, right? That's the difference. This is my intro message, my thank you message, and this is his intro message and thank you message, right? Just way too long and too early in the relationship to be writing so much. Now, this lady here, Fiona, she did a great job, but still a little bit too long for an intro message, okay? What I would have done if I was Fiona is I would have cut that first bit into an intro message, and then I would have used this as my offer message, okay? And I would have sent the rest of all of this 2 or 3 weeks later as an offer message, okay? And sort of spread it out a little bit. So that's what not to do. So guys, a salesy offer in LinkedIn, right? You do that a few times and 3 strikes, you're out. You're never going to get that lead to be interested in anything you say ever again. Because when you make a salesy offer, right? When you come forward too strong, you come off and you give the feeling of these words to your audience, right? You come off as presumptuous. You come off as too assertive, pushy, forceful, overbearing, self-serving, pretentious, okay, self-centered. You give off that feeling to your audience, and they don't like you after that. Okay, you've just been accepted into their LinkedIn community, and now you're giving them that feeling. They're never going to do business with you ever again. Okay. Now, a helpful offer, right? When you're helpful, when you're pleasant, right? When you're thoughtful, when you're considerate, right? When you're respectful, then you can send as many offers as you want because you're not offending them. Okay. The only feeling you're going to leave is, man, this guy's too thoughtful, right? He's too accommodating. He's too supportive, right? This guy's too friendly, because all you're trying to do is add value, right? You're helping them, right? Rather than pushing your agenda or your product onto them. Okay. So a helpful offer, right? You're not burning any bridges with helpful offers. Okay. And that's what we're going to talk about next. So this is the offer message, right? We also call it the problem finding question. And the purpose of the free offer, guys, isn't to sell. Okay. Because in all honesty, the sale doesn't really happen on LinkedIn. The sale happens after LinkedIn. Okay. The way that LinkedIn works is LinkedIn is used to start a relationship. It's to get engagement. It's to find a need or a desire. We use this message to disarm people. We use this message to help, not sell. We use this message to make an impression, and we get them to opt into us. Okay. We're not trying to sell to them. We're trying to find out whether they've got a need or a desire or a problem, and then we're getting them to opt into us. Okay. And once we understand that they've got a problem or a need, and we can sell and we can help, then the sale will organically happen, right? They'll request for a meeting. They'll ask to have a meeting with you, or to opt into an email campaign or something like that. That's where your lead magnet comes in. Okay. But that's the purpose of the free offer. It's not to sell, it's to just start that conversation. Okay. Now, the 5-step framework of a free offer message looks like this. Okay. You're personalizing and you're relating. You're coming to them with a curious approach. You're trying to find whether they've got a need or a desire. Then you're offering a solution, and you're highlighting a benefit to that solution. And then you're just going to give it to them. Okay. You're going to give it away, right, for free. So keep this offer message to about 400 or 500 characters. Okay. Now, this is an offer message, so it can be a bit longer, and it needs to be, because you're actually writing a few more words. Okay. So I'll break this down for you really, really quickly. So personalize and relate. This is easy, guys. Okay. Happy New Year. Okay. Hope you had a great Easter. Okay. If you're talking to salespeople, you might say something like, hey, hope you're hitting your sales targets, KPIs, your goals. Okay. During COVID, we might have said, hey, you hope the lockdowns aren't keeping you down. Okay. If you're nearing the financial year, hey, hope you're finishing the financial year strong. Something like that. Okay. Just something personable. Find some common ground. Okay. Now, we always use the curious approach. Okay. Because we want to let them know that we're doing our homework. We want to let them know that we've been checking them out. So we always come with this type of approach. Hey, I was just doing my research on or about you. Okay. Hey, I wanted to find out more about what you do as a job title. So, right. Hey, I was just checking out your website profile and, okay. Hey, I was just looking at your profile and wondered if, okay. Hey, I just took a sneak peek at your profile and wondered whether, okay. Hey, I've been following your work and thought I'd reach out. So that curious approach sets up, right, the next part of the message. Okay. Now, this is optional but recommended. Okay. And what we like to do is we like to use the prospects filtering to then personalize. Okay. And this is where using Sales Navigator is so important, because you record the filtering in Sales Navigator, right, as your prospect list in HeyReach. So when you look at that list, you know they're in Sydney. You know that their company has more than 200 headcount. You know what sector or industry they're in, right? And so you can use the prospects filters to then personalize, okay? And say something like, hey, I noticed you're in Sydney. Okay. Hey, I saw that you're using this technology. Okay. Hey, I noticed that you're the job title. Okay. Hey, I noticed that we're in this same group. Okay. So we're using the prospects filters to personalize. And then, guys, what we want to do is we want to see, right, whether they've got a problem. Okay. We want to find a problem, a need, and if they have a desire for a solution. And this is where we consult like a doctor. Okay. And so have a think about when you go to the doctor and how they consult with you, right? When you go to the doctor, they don't try and sell you medicine, right? They try and they ask questions to see what the problem is. So they say things like, hey, you know, when did the symptoms start? How long has it been hurting? Okay, how long have you been experiencing this? Okay, where does it hurt? Does it hurt when I do this, right? They consult like a doctor to see what the problem is, and then they offer a solution, okay? And so this is where we actually ask whether they've got a problem. Because remember that larger market formula, right? You don't know whether they've got a problem. You don't know whether they're looking for a solution, right? So you can't presume that they're going to be interested in what you've got to offer. And that's why we position the message with a problem finding question. So we ask something like, hey, does your business suffer from, right? Is your business experiencing, right? Are you currently finding it hard to, right? When it comes to this issue, do you struggle with this, right? Are you currently looking to do this, right? Would you like more of this? Could you use more of that? Would you benefit from this? Are your ideal clients here on LinkedIn? We're asking them a question, right, to see whether they've got a problem, okay? And sometimes I'll just leave it at that, right, and see whether they answer me, okay? But if you want to complete it, then there's the segue. If so, if then, if that's you, if that describes, if that's the case, then I want to, right? And then give them something of value, right? Prove yourself that you are worth doing business with, okay? Don't presume that they're going to want to have a meeting with you when they don't know you from a bar of soap, right? They don't know who you are. They don't know. You might be great at what you do, but they don't know that. So you need to show them that. You need to prove your worth. And the way that you prove your worth is by giving them something that shows them, hey, this guy knows what he's doing, right? Hey, this is a guy that can actually solve my problem. This is a guy that I'd like to do business with, right? Hey, this guy knows, you know, he's definitely an expert, right? Prove yourself to them by giving them something, right? Then I want to give you this. I'd like you to have this, right? I want to invite you to this event, right? I'd like to offer you this. I want you to have this, right? I want to help you by doing this. Give them something, right, that makes them go, yes, let's connect, right? Let's have a meeting, right? Show me that. Yeah, I'd love to have that. And then we highlight the benefit or the problem that lead magnet solves, right? So we say something like, hey, we use it to provide this benefit, okay? We give this to our clients and our clients use it to get this solution and this benefit, right? It's going to help you to benefit. It can be used to solve this main problem. It's designed to do this, right? It will provide these results. It's helped over 10,000 job titles to do this desire, right? Whatever that is. We actually highlight the benefit and the problem that it solves, and then just go, hey, I want to give it to you, right? Do you want it, right? Let me know if you think it'll help, right? I'll send it straight over. So sometimes you might just give it to them, and sometimes you might ask them, hey, do you actually want it, right? Happy to send it over, something like that. So if we put this together, okay, it looks like this, right? Hey, first name, hope you're being well. So remember, we're sending this 14 to 20 days after the thank you message, okay? Hope you've been doing well. I was just checking out your profile and I saw that your company is listed as having more than 300, 200 headcount. With that many staff, I wanted to ask if you might be having issues with this. If so, I wanted to offer you this. It'll help you to do this, right? Is this something you'd find valuable? Let me know. I'll send it over, okay? Another example. Hey, I've been following your work. I thought I'd reach out. I was wondering if you're currently finding it hard to implement this main desire in your company. If yes, then I'd like to help by giving you this, okay? ETAL, and then your signature lead magnet. Over 500 CEOs have used it to main desire their companies. Let me know, I'll give it to you, right? This is what an offer message looks like. You're trying to find a problem, and then you're presuming that if they've got that problem, they're going to want this solution. So here it is, okay? I'll give it to you for free because I want to build relationship. I want to build value, okay? Hey, just looking at your profile, wondered if you're doing any outreach here on LinkedIn. So this is my personal one, guys, okay? Hey, first name, happy end of financial year. Just looking at your profile and wondered if you're doing any outreach here on LinkedIn. If yes, then here's a goodwill gesture for accepting me into your community. It's a LinkedIn CRM and funnel builder that we use to generate hundreds of leads across multiple industries, right? Let me know if you want it. I'll email you, right? So really, really simple. That's what your offer message should look like, okay? Ask a question to see if they've got a problem and then give them the solution, okay? So basically, guys, that's what creating an irresistible offer looks like. Now, basically, you can put two of these together and string them together if you've got two different offers. And then there's the nudge message. And the nudge message is literally one line. Hey, did you get a chance to look at that video? Hey, did you get a chance to check out what I sent you? Right? That's the nudge message. right? If they don't respond, sometimes we don't even send nudge messages anymore, right? We just move on. Sometimes we will, okay? It just depends on, you know, really the audience. It depends on what you're trying to sell. There's a lot of variables, but a nudge message should be very simple. So guys, I talked about the 5-step formula to generating leads, right? So you've got your professional makeover, you targeted your audience. We just covered the irresistible offer, which is the message sequence. Once you've got this built out, the only thing you need to do, guys, is build out your funnels in HeyReach and then manage those leads into a sale using HeyReach's inbox, which we're not going to have time to cover today. But I want to show you some numbers of what you can expect, okay? So if you follow what I've just shown you, okay, and you send out 100 connection requests per week to the correct audience, you're going to get about a 30% acceptance rate. And out of that, 33 of them will become leads, okay? So every week, okay, you send out 100 connection requests, you should be building your database with about 3 warm leads per week. Now, the other 30 who have now become your part of your LinkedIn community, you can still influence them, right? And you can influence them by posting, nurture them into a sale with different offers, and they'll some of them will convert into offers, into sales later on, okay? Because they're not ready to buy yet. That's why they're not booking meetings with you. But you never burn these people, okay, with bad messaging and bad tactics. So we don't have time to cover working from HeyReach's inbox, but I can tell you HeyReach's inbox is the best on the market, okay? It is, and it's improving every day. There's a few more things that I'd like to see in terms of features, but if you know how to use HeyReach's inbox correctly, right, you will do really, really well. And the reason why you need HeyReach is because LinkedIn's inbox sucks for lead management, okay? It's very, very bad. It doesn't, with HeyReach, you've got things like tagging, right? You've got things like being able to see who they are at a glance, right? You've got templates that you can use. You can put them back into automations, right? You can do a whole bunch of things in HeyReach's inbox. You can filter people out by certain things. It's amazing, guys. And we do have an inbox management service. So if you want your HeyReach inbox managed, we can do that for you for $100 a month, right? But definitely use HeyReach's inbox. So everything I've shown you, it's going to end up being warm leads in your inbox, and then you just manage them and nurture them. Another thing that we're doing that's really helping is we use ChatGPT to automatically comment on the posts of our warm audience. So what happens is once these people become warm and they're interested, we actually start commenting automatically on all their posts. So what happens is once they say, hey, I'm interested, right? We want to always stay in front of them, right? We want to stay top of mind. And the best way to do that is to just follow them on LinkedIn and automatically comment on all of their posts, because then they're going to keep seeing you, right? They're going to keep seeing your profile image. They're going to keep seeing your main headline, okay? And that's worked wonders for us, right? Because it just keeps us front of their mind, okay? And we have that as a service as well. We charge $99 to set this up. So reach out if you want us to set up ChatGPT automated comments for LinkedIn. And guys, I'm gonna finish it there because I don't want to take too much of your time. I think I've gone a little bit over time. If you guys want to connect with me, right, take out your phones, scan this QR code, and you can connect with me on Facebook Messenger. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can check out our LinkedIn services, okay, and the services that we provide. So we provide HeyReach lead generation, funnel building, lead management, inbox management, automated LinkedIn comments. We do all of that sort of stuff, 50% off Sales Navigator. So pretty much everything you need for LinkedIn, we offer. So if you want to scan that QR code and connect, if you have more questions, if you want to take this offline and if you want to ask me some direct questions later, just scan that QR code, connect with me on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or just check out my services. Or look me up in the Facebook group. I'm very active there too, guys. So Ilya, I'm done.
Juan, man, I cannot thank you enough. This was over the top. It was like every step that I have explained could have been a separate webinar altogether, right? Amazing stuff, amazing job. I really appreciate you coming for this thing to do this for us today. We've got a couple of questions, but you basically covered the QR code. So people, right, just scan the code, connect with one. He is the guy to help you out with basically anything related to LinkedIn, right? If it's for the sales navigator, if it's for LinkedIn, profile optimization, like the breakdown of the messages. I truly have not seen anybody go so deep into just segmenting and just lay it all out. I'm basically so pumped. I want to rework on my campaigns right now, right? It's like that good. Cool. To everyone asking, there will be within the HeyReach community, there will be a recording of this webinar. So yeah, you can follow up. I will actually have to rewatch the whole thing just to follow up on things. Let us know. I mean, we are just behind schedule at this moment, but it's all good. Yes, there will be. So let us know, aside from recordings and all of that, do you have any specific question that you like to ask Juan now? We got like, I will ask Juan for 5 more minutes just to see if anybody has something to add. If not,
awesome, guys.
No.
It was a pleasure. I'll see you around in the community.
Yeah, for sure thing, for sure thing. Yeah, if you don't have any questions now, you know where to find them. HeyReach community, top contributor. We will basically make him an admin at some point. Thanks to all of you. For Juan, have a great day. For the rest of you, right, have a good evening. Thank you for coming.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. See you later, all of you. Bye.
See you guys. Bye-bye.